Let me tell you what's happening here in the United States, because we can't get our fiscal act together, so people don't know where to put their money. So as a result, gold, yet again, the safe haven. And you know how I feel about gold? I think it's a doorstop. David Morgan, though, here with us, thank God, publisher of Morgan Report. Gold hits a 3-week high. Really? Is it because of all these debt talks?
I believe that's certainly a big factor, Tracy. And, gold does make a very nice doorstop, and it's certainly done better than any other asset class over the last decade. But you're right, there's so much uncertainty in these markets. I just heard your previous interview, and with the uncertainty in Washington on this budget crisis and what's going on in the Eurozone, et cetera, et cetera, I mean, people are seeking a safe haven, both people and institutions, and that means higher gold prices.
But you say that July and August are typically slow trading months for gold, but yet you anticipate a downside. So you think people are going to come in and start selling this off?
Well, every year is different, and it's only probability. But if you look at the probabilities, 85% of the time the low in gold takes place in August. Well, does that mean it'll happen again this year? We don't know. From what's going on with all these problems, it's unlikely that it'll take place in August, but we still don't know, and I could build a scenario that it might take place.
If it does, then, I mean, is it like watch out below, or are we talking about, a couple point sell-off here?
Yeah, I would expect a big sell-off, and the argument would be that if interest rates do get forced higher, then that would make the dollar more attractive temporarily. And the argument would be that a lot of money would flow into the U.S. dollar for those higher interest rates, and that might push gold prices down for a while. I wouldn't expect it to be a big move, and I wouldn't expect it to last very long, if, in fact, that takes place. The other argument, of course, is all that takes place. In other words, interest rates get pushed much higher, and yet people just blow it off and say, so what? I don't need the higher interest rates. I'm just getting U.S. dollars back anyway. And that's a point of no return. That's what happened, of course, in Zimbabwe. You could get tremendous interest rates, but who wanted them?
Yeah.
You don't want to loan that money out at any cost.
All right, so you got debt ceiling talks here at home, Euro crisis overseas. Dollars should be the safe haven. So does that, if it weren't for what's going on in Euro, would gold be even higher?
Possibly. It's hard at this point to build any case that isn't bullish for gold. There is no other safe haven out there now, and the markets are starting to realize that. Now, again, if the interest rates go higher, we might see a big flood into the dollar for a while. I certainly wouldn't rule that out. But as far as a long-term safe haven, no. There is no long-term safe haven in the general financial markets until these budget crises, these debt crises around the world, be it the United States, be it the Eurozone, be it wherever, are resolved. And no one's resolving them, as we both know.
Yeah, no joke. All right, so let's talk about some of the other metals. China comes out with these blowout growth numbers. The global growth story is not going away anytime soon. Are you seeing the same story in the other metals as well?
Well, I'm a little bit suspect of the China story at this point. In fact, I'm going to put out a message to my members here pretty soon. China's really overbuilt at this point in time, and the copper market's a good signal for overall industrial strength, and it's already peaked out. It's showing strength with all the commodities today, I know, but overall, I am a little suspect that not the growth story is going away, but that the growth story is going to slow down. So what we talked about last time I was on your show was this deflationary scare.
Yep.
I still don't rule that out. I still think that could take place. The markets are very hot right now. It's a one-day event. Is it going to continue or not? I don't know. But what I could see is that with this Ben Bernanke talk and the markets cooling off and starting to see more and more problems unresolved, again, you might see a flee to the dollar for a while.
The last time you were here, too, we talked about how the mining companies are where you thought you should be playing this as opposed to the GLD, right? Are you still in that camp?
Absolutely. You look at some of the big money. George Soros got rid of a lot of his gold positions and moved into the miners. And I think the miners definitely, I know the miners have the best value at this point in time. Of course, there's higher risk, but higher risk usually is commensurate with a higher reward.
Same for the silver companies as well. Would you own the silver ETF? This, I think it's the CLV, if I said that right. Is the ticker?
SLV,
yeah, SLV.
Yeah,
sorry.
It's okay. It's not my first choice for a silver investment, but I like a lot of the silver miners. Many of them are coming out with earnings that are not off the charts, but substantially, significantly higher than what they were in the past. So there's a lot of these stocks that we've had in the portfolio for quite some time that continue to make, better gains as far as the price of the stock and better production rates and more efficiency. So the basic model that we started with those type of companies are coming to fruition, and yet they still are not fully valued by the market.
So then what's the takeaway here? Even though July and August are typically slow periods for commodities, you're still saying get in them full force.
Well, what I'm saying to everyone that subscribes is to buy throughout the summer. No one can pick an exact bottom. It's weak during the summer. If it turns out this summer it's strong, it doesn't really matter. Just average in over the next 3 or 4 months. You want to have a good, solid precious metals position going forward, and that's about the best I can do for generally speaking. Of course, there are, events that take place and I might be able to get a better trade in, but that's on the trading side, not on the investing side.
Yeah, that's why we love you. David Morgan, you're great. Publisher of the Morgan Report. It's is it morganreport.com?
TheMorganReport.com.
TheMorganReport.com. You're great. Thank you so much. Come back soon.
Tracy, thanks for having me.
David's so great, and he's right, man. You got a lot of opposing forces. People just keep putting their money in commodities. It seems to be working.